take myself out of being on here twice.
No, that's the one you came in on, right?
No, the computer has me silent, so you hear me from my phone,
There you go.
right? You hear me from my phone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That means I'm gonna have to look at the phone, look at the computer. This is gonna be special. Happy Friday evening.
Technology is crazy.
Happy Friday evening to us all. Oh yeah, that is not gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna have to reverse this. I'm sorry. We live. We're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together.
Hey, it's real world. It's what happens.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, is that still working?
Yes.
We don't see you.
You don't see me though.
What happened? I did see you.
You
Yeah,
did.
whatever she did, she just turned off something to see you.
There you
You're
go.
back. Hi, Mary.
Hi. Happy Friday.
What you do?
What did you
Can't hear you.
do?
Okay, so I gotta be both in both screens. Okay, there we go. I'm with it now. I was trying to be
Right.
efficient. Okay. All right. Happy Friday. Sip and chat. Technical difficulties, but we here. We rocking it out. So as we always do, we check in and say how you doing before we jump into what our lovely conversation is this evening. So, Doc, how we living? How we doing?
We're okay.
Oh,
Just okay.
Just okay.
Gotcha.
Just okay. Still battling the mess from last week, trying to get
Okay.
things straightened
Okay.
out.
Who are you? Who are you?
who are you?
Right. Right. So still trying to get that mess squared away.
Okay.
And of course, when you're trying to square away one mess, another mess starts usually.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
now I'm dealing with the other mess.
You just got a whole pile of mess going on over
Got
there.
a whole pile of mess going on. Whole
But it's
pile
the
of mess.
first of the third quarter, so like we gotta get this stuff cleansed out because this is the
Yes,
second half of the year.
yes,
And
yes,
the
yes.
internet streets told me you had some big moves going on, but that's not for this conversation. That's for the green room.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
The,
what the internet streets told me.
the
I was like,
internet
yeah,
streets.
I was
Wow.
like scrolling late at night, and I was like, oh, I think I know them. Oh, I
Hmm.
know Delaware psychology people. I know them.
Okay, internet streets. Shut the hell up.
Mind your business.
Mind
Mind your
your
business. Yes,
business. Yes.
yes. Mind your business.
Daryl, how you living this Friday night on a sip and chat Friday?
I'm cool. I'm here. You feel me? We're good.
So were you out
Working it
riding
out.
your motorcycle today or was that earlier this week?
I wasn't. That's an old video. That's from like last year. I just decided to post it. Somebody said something about outside, so I did it.
Grease my face.
That's when
I
you
know
know
you're
real friends
right.
pop up.
I know you're right. I know you will ride. I'll let you know.
Hilarious.
Yes, she popped out of nowhere too. She like,
Right.
what we need, what we got?
Red to go. You
Red.
understand
Oh,
me?
and speaking of that, yes. Yeah, I do need that
Uh-oh.
ATL connection.
Oh, see, Tracy. So you
we
got pull
we
up. You
need
got pull up.
we need the ATL connection. I want to go to ATL.
Listen, is it before September? Because if it's
Let's go.
September, I could coordinate my dates.
Right. Let's ship and on the move.
Uh,
Let's go.
Right, right.
you don't even have to go nowhere. I need to come there.
Right. We
Mm-mm-mm.
will be on the
there.
way.
Yes,
On
I need
the
you
way.
there. I just need you waiting and ready.
Oh
Right.
shoot. Not in the ATL streets. That's all the way. They have day parties before the day is even full.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad I had got that warning because when the lights dimmed the second time, I was like, yep, it's time for me to rock out. I'm out here solo in these ATL streets. I'm from the city. It's time to go. They offering drinks too. Yep, it's time to go. All right. So our evening conversation for this Friday is your mom's in our business. Yo.
Your mom is in my business. She's in my business. Can't you see? Your mom is trying to end this.
Family and friends all in your business. Like, hey, your mom's in our business. Like, what's going on? And it's so ironic that the way my calendar flowed this week, that I had my couple that, yeah, your mom is in our business and shaking the room and stirring the pot and all in the mix right in the wrong ways. Like, whew, I don't know if I could say nothing because, you know, these internet streets don't sleep. But I'm just saying. What you got, Doc? This is actually a topic in your book. It is what it is. So like, let's just off this stuff. People need to learn about it.
You know, we see it a lot. We see it a lot where, you know, the parents or the girlfriends or the homies are speaking for you in your relationship. And your partner, you know, they'll hear something and be like, that was Jill. Or that was your mom. Or that was your sister. That's not you. And we have to be careful about that. You know, when you're communicating with your spouse or your partner, are these your words? Are these your own feelings? Or are they is this coming from someone else? So you need to tease that out before you start talking.
Right. Daryl, what you got? What's your bone in this game?
I mean, Doc kind of really summed it up. I mean, when you have somebody outside giving you information, giving you advice, a lot of times unwarranted, that you may or may not agree with, but you follow, that's a problem. Because you're not even being your authentic self. You're following because maybe you feel like it, especially with a mom. Maybe you can't tell your mom, you know, to stay out your business. Some people are not strong enough to do that. So
even if you tell them, no, they still be there.
Right. So, well, again, so that would mean you didn't really tell them, because if you really tell somebody something, you shut it down, right? You'll be like, look, mom, I love you to death, but you can't come here no more. If you know, if you really want to shut it down, but if you continue to allow someone to do something, they'll continue to do it. You know, and some people, you know, their parents are very overbearing and they become the third person in the relationship, and that becomes a problem. It can become a problem.
Yes. And I like what you said, you know, mom, you can't come here. Right. You know, most people would not want to say that to their mother, but there, you know, there are ways to do that. You know, where you give the person an option. If you're setting a boundary, you give them the option. Look, mom, you can't be nice and respectful to my spouse, then you're only going to be able to come here when I'm home by myself. You know, so there are ways.
It kind of pivots people in the middle, though. Like, as far as that, whoever mom that is that's in the business like that you can only come when I'm by myself, that puts them in the middle versus them actually taking a side or just being clear on the boundaries on what's allowed in their relationship and what's not.
Well, but sometimes that alone conversation is the problem, right? That's when you're getting that bad advice. That's when they're schooling you up to what to say when they come home, right? That could be the problem, right? Yeah, you know, I don't like
the perspective I'm coming from is you're setting a boundary where you're letting your parent know that there will be none of this. You tell me something, I tell my spouse. So when we are home alone, when you come to my house, because you can't say anything nice. When you're at my house visiting me and the kids, whatever, we're not talking about my spouse. We're not talking about the rules in my house. You're not moving stuff around in my kitchen.
Who you talking to? Who the mama here?
Right.
So, I mean, you better watch this, what you telling your mom what she ain't doing. Okay. And therein lies the problem, right? Because you can only be, I mean, some people can really get down and dirty with their mom. I know I couldn't, right? I'm like, mom, you know you can't. What you say? Anytime you want to come over, you can come over. It's fine. I was just playing. I don't know what I was thinking about.
Like I had lost myself for a second.
And when you touched your belt, I felt myself come back. I'm sorry.
Right.
At this,
Like I
at
thought I
whatever
was out
age.
with my friends.
I thought I was grown for a minute. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not.
Right.
So
Right.
I can see it being very, very difficult having that parent when you have that such a respect for that parent. It may be a healthy fear as well, independent of how old that parent is.
Yes.
Right. So it's a very difficult, because sometimes out of loyalty for mom, spouse, whoever it is, you may not feel as though you can really shut that person down. Then what do you do then? You need your help.
And how do you show your support for your spouse who may be
Right.
going through something because of all the influence of your family or friends? How do you, how do you show that you're supporting them?
How you show it? You tell her, suck it up like you're doing. We got to suck this up together.
Oh my goodness.
We'll be all right. Just do what they say.
So when my mom comes, just do whatever she say.
You see, I do what she say. You do what she say. We'll be fine. I can see it being very difficult, and as like I said, it's affecting your spouse. How do you tactfully do that where you still have that respect for whomever it is that you have this respect for? Because obviously you have a respect for them. That's why you're letting them even butt into or contribute or give you information or advice on your relationship. How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's trickery pokery.
Trickery pokery. What is that?
Trickery pokery, because if you haven't established your own voice as an adult, with whomever it is that you gotta put this boundary in place, then it becomes tricky and sometimes so stressful for you as the person that has to make this line so clear that either you just say, you throw your hands up and wherever the cards fall, they may lay, or you just like, okay, can't y'all just get along? Like, we just got the baby's birthday party for a couple hours, or we only got this cookout, go have a red cup, like calm your nerves or something real quick for a couple hours. It's just a couple hours. Like they want you to sacrifice yourself because they won't sacrifice themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Exactly.
Look at Daryl's face.
I see.
Hey, it can only be one sacrifice. Okay.
But you know that if that sacrifice is your partner, then that's going to interfere in your relationship. If your partner is the one that has to sacrifice every single time, because
or just not go.
Right? Yeah, just not go to stuff.
True. You can stay home. I see you after our baby's birthday. I see you after our baby's birthday party.
My mom gonna be there, so
yeah. You can't come to the first birthday. I'll take a lot of pictures for you. You just see how it could cause so many problems. But I think it's really difficult, especially with a mom or even a really good friend. Say you knew that friend for 20 years and you've been with the person for 5. Like, how do you, like, this is my my man, I've been with this, we've been through everything, so I can't really, feel me? Like, that becomes a very difficult type thing, because you don't want to lose either relationship, right? But like I said, you can't really play in the middle, because when feelings get involved, and your partner should be, at the end of the day, the person you should support the most, right? But it does get difficult, It definitely does get difficult.
And I agree with Mary.
Did I tell you to block her? Stop, Doc. Wait a minute. Block her. Okay? I'm tired of this tomfoolery. I'm tired of
it.
She at least said mister.
Right.
Yeah, and that's even worse. That means we don't even know each other at all. Like, she really missed it. Like, block her.
Hey, Ruth.
She on punishment next week. Next week she on punishment. She can't join.
Oh, goodness.
I was going to say that I agree with Mary that it can come from you not having your own voice and not having that, what we talked about several shows ago, that separation and individuation where you're comfortable with your own needs and your own value system, because it may be different from your family and friends, but you're comfortable with it.
And then it might be, oh, you got all this education, or you got all of these promotions at your job, so you acting funny. You don't live in our zip code no more. Or you might live in the zip code, but we don't see much of you no more. Like, you just acting funny. Now you got this wife, spouse, child, whatever. Like, you just really, they just start layering it on. And it's just like, okay, because you have a different point of access to me than you did before, or like, really, what's the real issue?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times that is the issue.
That
they don't have the same access to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have to be careful, because you don't even know the motive behind them being in your business. They might want you to be alone so that they have access again.
Right. And that access can be real tricky, because I recall, I was trying to think of how to say this. My mom was very demanding. That's the nice way. It was in love. If you knew her, you truly loved her, and whatever. But she just had some definitive rules on the way certain things were done. And Mother's Day was one of those holidays that was like unapologetic. Something is happening for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just, it doesn't matter. That's the Sunday. You come in the costume. You do whatever it is that I asked for, because I'm mom. Mm-hmm. And my darling sister-in-law's birthday is around Mother's Day. And she thought that they were going to be able to go on a trip where my brother would miss Mother's Day.
Mm.
Yeah, that conversation went left real quick. And they were there for Mother's Day and traveled after the fact because of that my mom's presence was just so, I'm going to say demanding with love, but demanding that was a holiday that was extremely important to her. Even if we took her to see Throw Mama from the Train, or anything that we did to be sarcastically funny, whatever, on that day, it didn't matter. She commanded our presence to be in her presence.
Mm-hmm.
Was she wrong?
She wasn't. I mean, I'm going to say she wasn't, but that wasn't my spouse.
Right.
Your spouse should have knew better. Was she a mom at the time? The spouse, was she a mom as well?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, that to me is just in poor taste anyway.
Well, because she's accustomed to traveling, so.
Yeah, but I don't know what her relationship was with her mom, but my mom, you kind of know how it is, and I would want to be with my mom, so I don't know why we would try to plan something on that day.
On that day,
right. Yeah, like we there's a whole bunch of other days we could have picked.
A whole bunch of others.
So I'm team mom with that one.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
It was no choice in becoming team mom with that one, because it was either you followed the rules or you heard about it 364 and a half days.
Right.
Outside of not following whatever her boundaries and rules were.
Right.
But she was a loving and charming woman that everybody loved so much.
Now that story I think would change somewhat now. Say if she was a mom as well, right? And now you have to celebrate. How do you celebrate both? Because she's like, Mother's Day, as your wife, I want to do X, Y, and Z.
That would change.
That to me now it becomes like, how do we mitigate this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that might listen, Mom, I love you, but my spouse has to come first.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you just be upset.
Mm.
And I see you when you get back.
I mean, rest in peace, 2012, because I don't know how that would have worked out.
Right. So, but that's one of the situations where I can see it being very. Now you feel like I'm stuck in the middle, and it's really like, where does my loyalty really lie? To the one that birthed me, who's like, hey, you know what it is.
Right.
or my wife who
Gangster
now I'm
style.
supposed to, you understand me? Like,
Mhm.
so that would be very difficult,
Mm-hmm.
I think, and difficult for both because I can see, I even now it's not real, but I feel a loyalty to both, and I don't know how to mitigate that. Like, maybe we're all going on a trip.
I have a different opinion of that.
Oh, let's talk about it. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Because if I'm not your mother, I don't expect you to do anything for me on Mother's Day. Somebody asked me that about my husband. Said, "Does he?" No, I'm not his mother. He has a mother, so I expect him to do something for his mother and with his mother on Mother's Day.
Gotcha.
My
Gotcha.
kid, my daughter, does something for me on Mother's Day because I'm her mother. I had a conversation with someone who's married, and their wife was having a difficult time with that concept
Mhm.
because she has kids, but he's not, he's not your child.
Correct.
That was my opinion on it. He's not your child.
So, I
He
mean,
shouldn't
I mean that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. But you're a mother because of our union, right? Because of what we did, right? So I'm celebrating the mother to my children, right? And that's also important for my children to see me support her as a mother as well, because we are
support
the
is
immediate,
fine.
we
Buy
are the
her
immediate
card.
family, huh?
Support is
So
fine. Buy her
so
card.
okay, hey, all right, like listen, what do you say? I don't agree with you, Doc. We don't agree on this one. Because I think that again, that's more about your immediate family. Everything else comes outside of that, because this is where you're gonna go to war with most of the time, right? This person that's over here looking at you, you got to make sure you guys are good. Or when the divorce comes, ain't about helping pay half the shit. Ain't
But
nobody
I
helping
guess
you.
my issue wasn't with the husband trying to decide. My issue was with the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Step
Making that
aside.
demand.
You're not his mother. Step aside.
Mhm.
And
Let
I
him
think
do for his
sometimes society makes so many different pressures that people try to comply with
Yes.
society. So it's like, because society put this holiday or day on the calendar, we're supposed to do all these specific things. And
Mm-hmm.
every family has a different ritual around that. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know anything different than what my mother expected.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what she expected. That's what we delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to deliver it any longer in that format.
Right.
And
And
even
that's,
that was
that's
weird.
oh, sorry.
Hmm?
I was gonna say that's the issue with a lot of couples is that they don't establish their own culture in their
Correct.
Absolutely.
relationship. So they're
Absolutely.
this one spouse might be trying to follow one culture, the other spouse might be trying to follow another, and then the clashes come as opposed to setting their own.
Right. Right. Right.
Correct. Correct.
Don't follow the path that's well laid. Follow the one we got to go through the trees and
And the
you make the
weeds.
path. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to make your path because it'll be much more beneficial.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to
When
let
you
other
come home,
people learn to
start-
respect that.
yes, that's right. You fit the rest of the people on the outside will learn to respect
Right. Right.
once you start setting those boundaries and saying this is how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
So what about a different aspect?
Okay. Okay.
A different aspect where you're married, you're on your second marriage.
Mhm.
Your daughter has always been your primary focus for everything.
Okay.
And even though she's 35 and you
Mhm.
remarried someone who's near her age, she
Mm.
doesn't respect that person because it's not her mom. And you now
Mhm.
have a new baby. So she's no longer the baby.
Mm.
But
Whose side as the husband, father, do you select? How do you draw that line in still loving your daughter
Mhm.
as you always have, but the boundary that she should respect your new partner?
Mm.
well, I mean, I don't. She doesn't have to do anything, right? So if she doesn't really respect your
But
new
she has
part,
been very disrespectful though.
And I was about to say, what do we mean disrespectful? Like, is she just not talking to her, or is it a physical, like,
It's been
disrespect,
blatant
like,
and physical. Like it's been funerals that the obituary had her name included and she skipped over it, started laughing at that time that she's supposed to read the new wife's name.
Oh God.
Obituaries are so funny because it's always some drama with who get left out, and what do you call the girlfriend for 30 years? Like that woman,
Right?
Like,
right.
what do you do? So I guess,
and this wasn't that. Just to be clear, this wasn't that, but I get it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's when all the dirt come out at the funeral.
Right. So it's interesting.
Y'all
I mean, at
stop
that point,
texting Daryl. He's on live right now.
hey, I'm multitasking. She's 35. She's 35.
I didn't text you.
No, you didn't.
No, I did not.
She's 35. So at that point, they most likely won't have to be together in certain things. Because I'm like, listen, if you guys can't respect each other, then I just can't have you guys around each other, right? If you can't respect each other for me, outside of anything else, like just be cordial enough because I love you both, then we just won't have anything, and people are going to miss certain things, right? Because certain things, my wife, like the anniversary, my wife's going to be there. If you choose not to come, love you to death, you don't have to, right? You have to be okay with people not being around or people not being as involved with your life as you want them to be. I got to be okay with that. And and I'm okay with it because of your choice. That's your choice. I didn't choose it. You choose. I respect your decision. Now, we're having this party and I guess you won't be there. Hey, have fun. I'm just on Saturday. We're going to be turning up. Good luck. And if you do come to where a show,
throw that in there too, right? Daryl would throw that in there.
Daryl would.
Absolutely. Now, if someone is going to come to where and show their ass, I don't care either side, then you will be removed from whatever it is. Like, we're not even going to go through this. We're not going back and forth with who's right, who's wrong. Hey, you came here. Hey, you'll be removed, right? And that's how it has to be. Can't try to play referee in that situation. I think a lot of times we do. We try to be a referee, and you can't really be a referee if this person is really like, I don't mess with so and so, right? If that bridge ain't there and you can't build it, you can't because you can't change people. So, leave them where they at. Like, look, I guess you can't come to the crib because this is our house,
right?
And we have to respect. This is her place as well. I have to respect that. I can't have her peace disturbed. I love you to death. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to do. Well, especially if you're my daughter and I raised you that way. You know what I mean? Now, if it's my spouse being disrespectful to my daughter, she's not my spouse anymore. You understand that? You got to go. I'm just letting you know.
How does the spouse have different rules than the daughter?
Because you're not going to respect my child. No way, no how, no form.
Never mind.
Yeah. Right.
This will not happen. I will not let that go down. We wouldn't even get to the point to be a spouse if you had a disrespect for my child. If you had an issue with my and you had an issue with my child, we're not even getting there. So
even if I had a baby,
how you have a baby? Because I would have known you didn't like my child already. So you ain't getting no baby.
Not always.
You ain't getting no baby.
Unless we had a baby the first time I met you, it was a one nighter you got pregnant. Then that's my fault. I got to figure it out. Then I'll see the baby, but I still don't have to see you. It's okay. It's not the first time it happened, right? But yeah, we're not doing that.
Oh, goodness.
That's just how I look at it. You know what I mean? No one's going to just disrespect my child and be, it's not going to happen. Sorry. Good look. Deuces. Nice meeting you.
I just got reminded of you at the school, at the truck, hiding in the bushes.
Yes.
Always turn. Wow. What? Wow, what? Wow, what? Who going to let somebody disrespect their child? Raise your hand so I can cut you out.
I mean, you just going to leave your whole spouse out there. Like, that's just...
Again, this is a problem. If she became your spouse, means that you guys don't know each other, right? Because you never met the kid before, right? She couldn't just start disrespecting her after you got married.
There's probably some more to the story that makes the disconnection make more sense. But yeah, it was.
I'm talking about the other way around. The child having a problem is a lot different than the spouse having a problem with the child.
Yeah, the spouse didn't have a problem. I mean, yeah,
That's
the
what I'm
spouse
saying.
didn't have a problem with the daughter.
No, I'm just saying in reverse world, if the spouse had a problem with the child, I can't see that relationship going forward. Because how could I go forward with somebody who had a problem with my child before they became a spouse, whatever the case may be? That don't make sense to me, right? There's nothing that would, even if the coochie was good, remember, they're rich in the beginning, but now they saltines, and I'm like, I'm not trading saltines for my daughter. Fuck out of here. You almost had me. But no, so I don't see how anyone gets into anything where someone has an issue with their child. And I know people do it.
I was going to say,
right,
yes,
right.
we know in the field that we're in, lots of people pick men and women over their children.
Absolutely.
Right. That's why mental health is real. I get it, right? I get it. I don't see, right. I would ask, like, how healthy is that for your child, right? You're really putting them in a bad situation with that, with self-esteem and things of that nature. If someone's really not liking them, that means they're, not caring from the best. I couldn't do it. And I don't care how old my daughter is, right? At that point, what I mean? If she's 30 and you out there disrespecting her, listen, don't get jumped by two grown people. If we put hands and feet on people, hands and feet, you understand me?
So I don't know, Doc, you got another scenario?
No, I was going to ask about one in general where your friend or mom is telling you how to conduct your relationship business. Like, girl, you need to tell him such and such and such and such, because that's what I told my so-and-so. And,
and she's miserable and wants you to be miserable.
Right.
Well, and I would say, is this advice really bad advice? Or is it dated or antiquated advice?
Tell, though. Some people can't tell if the advice is
right. So, I think
they're in a position where they need advice, and they're grasping at straws from the people that's supposed to care about them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know it's bad advice.
Well, I think discernment is real, which a lot of people don't have. I think I'm big at knowing the players that are involved in my life, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're habitually bad with giving advice, I need to know that, right? I need to be like, you're not the person that should ask for advice. Like the last 7 times I asked you for advice, it didn't go well. Mm-hmm. So I believe who people are. I've gotten to the point in my life where I believe who you are. Who you present to be, that's who you are, and I'm allow you to be that person. So if I know that you're not, someone I can count on, I'm not going to count on you, right? I'm not going to call you if my car breaks down because I know you're not really the person to call. Because I think people do that, then I'll call that person and be upset. Man, I do all this for you, and you can't even come out for me. Well, you already know this person isn't that person. We should start recognizing who the players are and what their skill set is in our lives. And be real with it. That's where I'm at now. I've been there before where I didn't, if somebody's a thief, they're a thief. Don't let them in your house. Don't get mad because the thief is in your house stealing. Like, oh, they stole from me again. Why'd you let them in? You knew they stole. Like, we have to start, just whoever's in our life, pay attention to it. And so if my mom gives good advice, I might have to take the advice, right? It might be, but if it's habitually bad advice, but I guess some people don't know. But you got to figure it out. I don't know. You may not know bad advice.
Yeah, you gotta learn from each situation and really, really like decide, like from the conversation I had earlier today, that person had to decide and sent a message to all of their friends, like, yo, found out the results. I'm not in a good space, but I'm not talking to anybody. Because she's like, I know that noise is going to be put on the black hoodie unless I know where her house is at. Like, let's pull up. And she was like, I'm not really on that type time. It's bad advice.
Right. And what if the advice is
ooh, that's a good one.
Wait a minute, Tracy. I forgot what I was going to say. What is
Tracy over here dropping bombs? That's why. Right. She playing games. Tracy, you playing games?
Tracy
I see.
Said, I came to play tonight.
Oh, listen, it's up. She said it's up. Let's go.
So, Doc, your thought is going for now. We're gonna go to Tracy's thing.
No, it came back. What about getting relationship advice from people who had a bad run of relationships?
Yeah, can they always give advice? But that's kind of our fault too, because if
So
the
like
person
the
you're with
person that wrote
ain't
this book that I could pull up that didn't write this book.
Steve
That's
Harvey.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you called Steve Harvey.
You write that book.
Oh, we see. Like again, I think. Well, it's tough, right? Because you see people who haven't had a great relationship ever, but they're giving relationship advice. Very difficult, because sometimes people who can be great coaches, right? They may have some great advice. They just can't do as I say type thing, not as I do. People can't really sometimes the application. But again, I think it comes with discernment. You know, you have to really kind of take the advice. I think, process it, think about it, and see how it works for you. Not to take what people say as the gospel. And I think that we do that a lot. A lot of people are sheep, and any advice they give them, they may feel is correct because, oh, this person got a better job, or this person has more education, or they got a better car, or they're successful and they know better. We can't use those things as barometers for people's advice, but we do. Someone said the other day, this person's successful, so I know they're going to give me the secret to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Where's
Where's
the receipt?
Right. What is successful? Because what it looks like on the outside, that person may be broke. We don't know if people are front. Like you don't know today. People definitely portray things that are not who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the internet never sleeps when people be searching.
Oh, listen, the internet is undefeated. It will bring out who you really are.
Right. Even if it take 30 years. That was bad. That was bad. I shouldn't have said that with the recent events this week. Okay, so Tracy's scenario. Mom's birthday is on Valentine's Day. Son takes mom out for birthday, but does nothing for his significant other. Tracy takes the play.
Well, I think the first problem we need to address is why he did nothing, right? Because you could have did something, a card, flowers, whatever the case may be. Because again, if the culture is like, look, I've been taking my mom out on her birthday before you, right? This is what we do. That's already established. Again, because this is a man-made holiday. It's not really. It's a day. So
you got to post the pictures to compare.
You understand? So I would say I may do something as far as leave. You could have did something as far as leaving some flowers or something just to show that you thought about her. But yeah, mom is again. We're going to mom. We're going to mom. For her Valentine's Day. We're going to her birthday. Sorry, it's her birthday.
Because it's not really Valentine's Day. It's really her birthday.
Right.
That happens to fall on the man-made holiday that it is.
Right. And again, so this goes back to, whatever your culture is, let's say your culture, like this is what we've been doing. And I'll explain to her, like, listen, this is what we've been doing. So I'm not going to, especially in the beginning, because I'm like, I'm not going to stop doing this with you. I just met you, whatever the case may be, and my mom, yada, yada, yada. And then even as the relationship goes on, like, look, you knew last year I took my mom out. Right? You knew already this is what it's going to be. And I'm going to let you know next year and the year after, it's going to be that, right? So if you want to do something maybe after or before, I get it. But on her birthday, it will be celebrated with her. And again, we need to have that conversation in the beginning. And if she's not with it, then, maybe this won't work for you if one day you can't understand that I'm doing something that I've been doing pre you.
I mean, if she's trying to establish the culture in their relationship of we do something on Valentine's Day, then they're gonna have to work it out because all right, it's Mom's birthday. I'm gonna celebrate with my mom. So how can you and I compromise on this Valentine's Day thing? Maybe we do cards and flowers and I take my mom out. Or we do brunch and then I take my mom out for dinner.
Or we have a weekend.
Right. If you so worried about one day that that you think that it has, we have issues already because you act like that's an immovable object. I'm telling you, my mom's birth, the lady who birthed me, her day is today. It's going to be her day. If you can't understand that, ain't no compromise. We're going to have a culture of either the day before or the day after. Or it's going to be a culture of us not knowing each other. You make a decision. What culture you want.
This makes me think about a woman who I worked for, that their birthday was a day before the said holiday, Valentine's Day. And she felt like both days should have their separate yet big celebration. Her birthday the day before, and also this man-made holiday that she was supposed to be acknowledged with love overflowingly with high-end situations on both days.
Okay.
So I am I am a culture.
I didn't hear you, Doc.
I said, did she get that?
She demanded it. She got it.
Okay.
Well, again, if he
they didn't sustain, like no person in the time of me knowing this person did any of those relationships sustain themselves, because I don't know because. I mean, I could probably make a whole bunch of hypotheses, but they didn't sustain themselves, even to the point of being engaged, but then the engagement didn't sustain it.
Okay.
Because they all partied out. You partying 2-3 days in a row. I'm tired.
I mean, but that right there is probably a symptom of something else.
Right? Mental health. It's all a symptom.
And there are psychologists too, so imagine that.
Well, just again, do as I say, not as I do. But and we can't fully blame them because people acquiesced. People said, okay. So you fed that nonsense, which makes it seem okay. People have done it. So that when that person doesn't do it, what you mean? Jermaine did it. Call Jermaine.
Go call him.
You understand me?
Right.
So, right. And you know what? It's funny because that's what happens too. People will do things, especially in the beginning, because they maybe want the relationship to go on, or they feel like they can do it. And like it's not sustainable. Once you start getting down the road, like I ain't partying 2 days in a row.
Right.
I just spent all this money on this and I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. No, we ain't doing it.
I'm not buying you a Prada bag today and tomorrow.
or ever.
Well, because we already said high end. So I'm thinking she demanded high end gifts.
She did. She did.
Yeah.
Definitely did. From her team included. Definitely did. Right. I'm like, okay, can we get paid? But okay, let me fall back. Can we fall back?
That's very interesting.
We're taking up a commitment of $500 each person.
Right. Right. All right, let me backpedal step out of that one, because that's
so what we accept is, it becomes our fault if we continue to accept these things, right? And that's what we have to understand. When you accept something, when you do something once, twice, now it's habitual. That's your fault, right? You can say no. Right.
You take on a responsibility once, it becomes yours.
Right.
That's why I don't do it. That's why I don't do it once. Not doing it.
And so the reason people will be all in your business if you slip, trip, and fall and do it that one time, because they like, oh, you did it once? Oh, wait a minute. Some people are cheering it on like, okay, that's a keeper, or, let's stay in this relationship. And then as soon as life is altered or changed and they're not able to sustain it, then they're becoming the worst person ever. And that's not really accurate either.
Right.
But
you have to learn that. Yeah, I think something you learn. I think a lot of times, a lot of people will do that in the beginning. You'll try to, you want to appease people. You want people to be happy. I'll do it in the moment, not thinking that this, you are actually holding yourself to something that has to keep going forward. We don't think about it that way, and we should. And I like what Doc, I hear it all the time in the beginning, like Doc said in the beginning. Be real. You can say whatever you want because nothing matters right now. If it doesn't work, cool. I can walk away. We ain't got no nothing holding us together. So at that point, that's when you need to tell somebody, hey, look, I'm not doing 2 birthdays or 2 holidays back to back. You know what I mean? And then now we ain't doing nothing now. Now I'm mad. We ain't doing nothing. Skip the 2 days altogether.
In your business people, because you done told them Jermaine done bought me 2 bags back to back, and then the next time when Jermaine can't do it, your people like, man, he a bum. He did that just to get you. Now he can't do it
Or he
anymore.
must be cheating.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
must be cheating. He, then Jermaine becomes the worst man in the world, and you're
In the
picking up
world.
all that negativity and
So,
filtering it into your relationship or
right.
bringing it
Or I
into.
think sometimes we allow people to be in our business because when we're going through those problems, we go tell you all our business. I can't believe he did such and such. I can't believe he did such and such. So this person I have a negative view of this person because that's all I hear. I don't hear the good parts. So you allow them, so they kicking their back in. Cause they should, because what they hear, like they're often what they hear, and they're all negative things. So when things are good, they're still like, girl, you shouldn't be with him. He ain't no damn good. And that could be a problem as well, because they don't have nothing positive to say. So they're in your business, but you allowed it. You actually created that monster.
You invited them into the process.
Right.
Yeah.
And using them to be a sounding board when things are negative, it becomes now this person is going to be a positive negative influence on your relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you guys do get it back together, they're not going to be able to their view of that person still will be whoever you told them they are, and they may carry that.
You.
Wait, what happened?
I said, and then they have a negative view of you. Like,
Correct.
why she keeping back with him?
Right,
What's wrong with her?
Correct.
She told me all the things he did, and now she going back.
Correct.
He ain't getting that Prada bag.
Right.
Broke ass. He probably got another girl. He got another girl. He got the other girl Prada.
Making stuff up.
Making stuff up to make their story work.
Right. And the thing about it, and that can start playing on the person, because maybe he got somebody else. Boom. Now you going down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Checking cell phones and stuff.
Right. Hiding in the back of people's cars.
Dang.
Oh, sorry. That happened to nobody else?
I mean, I was the driver one time of somebody hiding in the back seat to pop out.
Well, how about you didn't know somebody was in the back of your car? Like you never turned to hear.
No.
You never turned to hear somebody like, ow, like who's back there? That never happened to nobody else? Never mind, keep going. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, you say that for the green room.
Go ahead. I think I've seen it on TV somewhere or something.
That's when you become Mr.
And I mean, it also, which we've already said and alluded to, that it can have a negative effect on your relationship with that other person, because now they're thinking, what is wrong with you?
Right.
I done roll with you, took the baseball bat while you
packed you up.
Yeah.
To my house.
Yes. Had to go and go to other people's houses with you and all that kind of stuff.
To the police.
Or even I was there when you cried. You cried on my shoulder, right? Yes. You were here with me when it was going down, and you were telling me how bad it was, and I felt how upset you were or whatever about the situation. And now you're back to that situation. What's wrong with you? Right? I don't know you anymore. You're not the person I know. That go down all that type of stuff they start saying. Because they're upset, and it could make you upset. I'm tired of you going back.
So they don't even answer your phone call after a certain point.
Right. I'm gonna say I'm done because you keep doing this. Right.
I know girlfriends too that have said, "Oh well, if y'all supposed to get married, your parents need some grandchildren, so go ahead and have a baby before you get married." What?
Wait, parents do that all the time too.
They do.
Girl, when you gonna have a baby?
Right.
When you gonna have they ain't asking about marriage. When you gonna have a baby? And that pressure does bust pipes. Some people will go out here and get pregnant because mom or dad or whatever is so much. You just want to get it done, And girl, you're getting up in age. When you gonna give us some grandchildren? When I'm ready. But that's not the response. People will go out there and be reckless.
Right. Right. Or say the job is in the way of them having grandkids. Definitely. I know two movies that I thought about when thinking about this topic was Soul Food
Right.
and Acrimony.
Okay, I saw that, but I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Yeah, who was in whose business? I know she was
That was
absolutely
Her
insane.
sister
Yeah.
was in her business. That's why she ended up pushing him away to divorce because she had invested a lot.
Right.
But the only reason she got so filled with all those emotions was because she was listening to her sisters.
Right.
She had made her decision. She wanted to ride or die and support him no matter what. So, like, she listened to the sisters. And so they end up pushing her to sitting in that chair for like however many minutes in that scene, looking special, and then going on the boat, doing other special things. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
actually a good one.
she's not
That's a
playing.
good one.
She's not playing for real. Like that seemed like
That's
she
a
did
good
that
one.
before. Did that before. Tracy, I don't know if your yup was to the acrimony thing.
I'm gonna have to watch it again. It's been a while since I saw that movie once.
Yeah, that movie and Soul Food. I thought about Soul Food as well.
So Soul Food, and what part was business?
I don't remember exactly, but I think the sister that was kind of
with Lim, Nia Long, and they were talking about how bad he was and all that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And they actually, and that's how he got locked up because the other sister got in the business. Yeah.
Exactly. He would have to be locked up or away from family or anything like that. I'm sure there's probably a whole bunch of movies where we could probably think about, where family was involved or your mom is in the business or people guilt tripping you into making decisions. It just
right.
It's a thing that lives in our culture, nice and strong.
Right.
Yes. A lot of families go by that being separated and individuated is not seen in a positive light.
Correct.
Yes. They want, we have a lot of enmeshment in our families.
It takes a village.
Yes, exactly. That whole idea. Yes.
It's true though, what that really means. That they don't
but how people actually interpret
people interpret it.
Is a lot different than it's presented. What happens in this family stays in this family.
That's gang. Too. I know I'm not supposed to say the word crazy, but I'm off the clock.
Right. And it's really, you don't really understand how harmful it is, and it was passed down. Like that's something that even for me, you have to break that cycle, right? Hey, ain't nothing to stay here. You tell everything. You don't keep nothing. Care who it is. You have to break these cycles because again, that was what it was. You don't tell whatever happens. I don't care how bad it is, whatever happened, you don't tell. So that goes to that mindset where I think it traps you into not like when somebody tells you something in your family, you got to listen to it. You got to, okay. And that started from birth. We were taught that from young age, to do that.
Yes. And as Barry said early on in the conversation, when you try to be an individual, it's like, oh, you knew. You get a new because you this, that, or the other thing that they've placed, the labels they've placed on you.
And when it's just they're envious.
Huh?
I said, and they're also envious of those things that you have accomplished.
Sometimes. Especially if they feel like you're leaving them, right? If you're moving away from them, they almost take your successes. You're leaving us. You're leaving us. You're not taking us with you.
So, Doc, why are you looking at me like that? So when you say you leaving them, right? It makes me think about some of the couple dynamics that I deal with that they believe in. They have like strong, they have perceived strong spiritual background, right? And so with that, they have the belief of cleaving to your spouse seems to get lost on what that actually looks like. But it's like that you being told from the very, very beginning with that when you form a relationship with your spouse, you're supposed to leave what was formerly, like, not leave totally, but like you're supposed to like align with your partner more than you do with the people who are your core family to make sure that your household is correct. But yet when we implement that into day-to-day practices, it's like people don't do that whole cleaving to their spouse thing.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
So when they all in your business, I mean, you could really just throw the scripture back. Well, ain't I supposed to cleave to my
But
spouse?
ain't you supposed to love thy mother and father?
Right.
So you want to go?
I cleave to my spouse. I think I love you a little differently.
Right. It's very interesting. Like you said, it's how we have. Again, we operate out of the culture or whatever we come from, and that becomes the end all to be all. Like we just feel like this is what we should do or have to do, and we carry that into our relationships. And that's why a lot of relationships fail, because we have way too many what they say chefs in the kitchen. You have 19 different people telling you how to run your relationship. And that definitely becomes a problem. Because you may not only have your mom who you feel like you have to, or you may have a good friend or friends that you also speak to, and they have their interpretation of how you should do things. And no professionals. We don't have any professionals. We have all these people that we're listening to that are just giving advice that's very anecdotal at best. Maybe not even tried, or no trial and error. They're just saying things that they don't even do in their own lives. That's what I learned a lot of times. People say things that they don't even do in their own lives. They get this reckless advice.
So like the shoulda, woulda, couldas, those create like the breakdown and the breakup. Like all these shoulds, these like unspoken rules. Like, can we talk about what we should do or what we should create, or just take the word should out of our conversation altogether?
Right. I tell people that all the time. Take the shoulds out.
Tell me more. Take the shoulds out.
Because should implies that it is something that needs to be done. And then you're already placing guilt on yourself if you're talking to yourself about something you should be doing, or guilt on another person if you're talking about something they should be doing. And it implies that that's the only way.
Gotcha.
When there are many ways of doing things, and you can create your own way of doing things. And that's the problem I think that a lot of family members and friends have difficulty with. You creating your own way. Everybody wants you to do things their way.
Right. You see that a lot, especially when you raise a baby. They have all different things like, hey, let the baby eat on the bone. He can gnaw on the bone. Like, I'm like, baby ain't gnawing on no bone. What are you talking about? Get the hell out of here talking this retarded shit. You should. Right. Hey, that baby's hungry. I know he's only 3 months. Put some food in there, some real food in there. Wait, what are we talking about? Like, no, the baby is not supposed to eat regular food at 3 months because he's hungry. He's not.
Right.
But I know that when I was raising my daughter, I had all this advice, unwarranted, about things that I should. Now I understand the should do. And I told him the should get away from me. Get the should away from me. Because we ain't doing none of that should. You understand? But I get it. Like, it was all this advice and things that, it's okay to do. Hey, the baby team, rub a little, I don't know, some type of brandy or something on their gums. My baby gonna be drunk? No. I'm not doing that. What are we talking
They're
about
gonna be
here?
sleep is what they're gonna be.
Right. They're like, yeah, it's gonna help them. It's gonna make them feel better. Yeah, it's alcohol. It makes everybody feel better when we drink too much. 3-month-olds shouldn't be drinking. I'm just saying.
Right.
But and that I see that a lot where it's a whole bunch of advice from family, and they get upset when you don't do, like when I had to smack a chicken bone out of my hand who was going towards my daughter. Pew! Like, what are you doing? I told you no. They got upset with me. Like, I don't know where babies eat chicken bones at, but not here. I don't know what you do with yours. I'm good.
Right.
Totally good. This will help break their teeth through. It's okay. I'm good. I'm all right.
That part.
See, Daryl has no problem setting boundaries with his family.
Yeah,
With
none,
anybody.
none. Yeah, when it comes to my daughter, not at all. Other things, maybe not as strong, but that, we ain't no problem. Was that a good example for should? Tracy, was that a good example for should? Or should I give you another example?
Those embedded expectations of the word should.
Right. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. And they definitely say it in a way that this is how it has to be done or should be done. It's not like there's no other way.
Mm-hmm,
This is what we do. This is what we do.
And it implies that you're wrong for not doing it that way.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like their way is the only best way to make it happen.
Oh, that's it.
I would chop in your throat and try to do that to my baby. You understand me? Are you out your rabbit ass mind if you get that pre-chew food up away from us?
They getting it ready for the baby in their mind.
Chop to the throat.
That was a big thing, though. I mean, that was a thing.
It was.
And people act like it was okay for any family member to do that.
Now that's the
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two problems, but that is no.
Mm-hmm.
My baby just got mouth from anywhere, huh?
And then you go into the emergency room, you can't even tell the doctors what they done had contact with.
Right. Yeah.
That's how they used to do it. That's
right. Grandma, first of all, what are you doing? You don't
get
out of here.
Especially in the Caribbean culture, for facts.
Right. And this is why you can't leave your kids alone, because when you're alone, they're gonna do it anyway.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, no, thank you. I don't need a babysitter.
And telling the kid the whole time, your parents should know better, but they ain't listening to nobody. But this is what you should be doing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or even if your spouse is there and they're telling basically her how to raise the kid, and you have to really kind of step in at that if you can. Like some people can't, but you have to step in because that can be tough for, I think we got to figure it out somewhat, but they're giving all this unwarranted advice, like you said, and using the word should, like this is how it has to be done. And when they don't do it, like, what's wrong with her? These young girls don't know how to raise babies no more. When I had a baby, I had 6 babies I had to raise, and she can't even. Shut up. We can't be afraid to kind of, speak for whatever our culture is going to be, or even if we're learning through something, right? It's okay to have some advice, but you don't have to take it. And
that's tell people the key. You don't have to take it.
You don't.
Just try to get him to go to sleep.
Listen.
Raj come home and tell everything.
Tell everything.
He ain't tell how much beer he drink though.
He probably don't.
Hey, she tried to give us beer again. I ain't like it the first time I drank it. Wait, what?
Right. Like it was a little salty. Oh man. Is there anything, Doc, that you shared in this chapter that you wanted to share with the people?
I think I pretty much said everything that I shared in that chapter. Pretty much.
And
It's,
that's not a okay. I'm sorry, Doc.
no. No, I was going to say, I think that's everything, especially when you talk about setting the boundaries and being able to, sit someone down and tell them, this is how we're going to do things.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know? Especially for the unsolicited advice. Now, if you're going to your friends and your family and telling them all your business and asking them what you should do, that's different.
Right.
But for the unsolicited advice, you can definitely sit them down and say, we're working our way through this.
Mm-hmm.
If we need help, we will ask.
And until then, don't send no memes in the inbox. Don't send no text message in the group
No
text
cryptic
message.
messages on social media.
Right. Girl, if he did it once, he's gonna do it again.
Right.
I'm just writing. I just posted. I like the post. It wasn't for y'all.
Like Gerald said, not y'all, people who y'all know.
Right.
Even though she just told you what he did.
Right.
And then you took it to social media.
Yeah, all your posts are referring to what we talked about.
Right.
I know what you're doing.
Right.
I know exactly what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Hilarious.
I think part of another part that we alluded to is that you have to also set realistic expectations for those other relationships, because mom may not stop being mom.
Right. Right.
So so you sometimes you have to determine what that person can actually bring into the relationship, and how you manage in a way that keeps your other relationship healthy.
And that takes work.
Yes,
it does.
And it's not necessarily work that you can always do independently. Like, you have to actually have a non-biased voice to kind of guide you through that.
Yes, for sure. That's when therapy comes into play.
Is it? I was wondering what came in at that point.
Yes. A partial person that you can talk to who gains nothing.
Correct.
No skin in the game.
Right. They have no skin in the game.
No skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
No skin in the game. And I'm so glad that some people are aware of that process and knowing that the reason you have engaged with a couples therapist is so that they can help be the facilitator of these difficult conversations and help you see all sides. And just, recently life is just special. So, you just have to know that space, if you go to the therapist individually and that's your couples therapist, that whatever you share is going to come up in the couples session as well. At some point. I mean, unless you say he is at risk, but at some point.
Right. Yes. Either you're going to be encouraged to tell it yourself.
That's the best way.
Yes, that's always the best.
That's the best way. I mean, I'm there side by side to help you out.
Right. Yeah, it's always the best way. We'll encourage you to gain the strength and the assertiveness for you to put it out there yourself.
Or what she don't know won't hurt her.
Then that's when you need your own therapist.
Right. Yeah. That's the stuff you tell to your individual therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though you're still going to be encouraged and coached to say that to your partner at some point, but you can have that disillusion in the beginning that, okay, what she don't know won't hurt her.
Well, you said my safety, if she find out that I was with the neighbors, then my safety gonna be involved, so we can't talk.
See, that's somebody who works in the field and know how to manipulate the words.
Right. We gotta be. It's about safety. I don't want anybody to get hurt with her knowing this information. It's better if we don't tell her. But I feel better that I was able to tell you, get it off my conscience.
And then they will show for the session for a while.
Right.
So And wrapping up, like, what will we say are the closing tips or things that we will want people to take away as nuggets from this conversation?
I think for me, what I've been hearing the last couple of weeks are boundaries. We have to be able to put up boundaries in whatever aspect of our lives to kind of, give it boundaries. So
Right.
we know where our boundaries are and what we accept and what we won't accept. We have to put those things up and let people know what they are. So like, listen, so because sometimes people don't know they're crossing a boundary. If my mom doesn't know she's crossing a boundary by giving this unsolicited advice, then she's going to keep doing it. Right. So if you let them know what these boundaries are, once they continue to do it, then you can go to the next step as far as, look, then you can't come over, or maybe we can't have this kind, or whatever the case may be. You can take it to the next level, but you have to let people know. Well, first you have to know what your boundaries are yourself to allow them to know
the reason why they exist.
Yes.
Right.
And feel confident in your conviction on why they exist.
Yes.
Okay.
Because people will try to talk you out of it.
Oh yes,
absolutely.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Just like they do exercise and eating different and how you spending money, and like it's the same thing. It just impacts you, or you react to it differently based on what the common theme is.
Yes. The other thing I would say is, don't leave your partner on a limb by themselves. By talking to you, talk to your family and friends, and you'll go and say, well, Susie said she can't come around here because y'all disrespecting her.
Right. You just kicked her whole back end out.
Yes.
Well, how should that be said?
Tony said you can't come to our house because he doesn't like the way you look at our kids.
Okay.
You're not showing that you're a partner in this decision.
Okay. Should it be more like
we said it should be?
We don't want you to come to the house. We don't want you to come to the house.
And we found that it's not a good idea for you to come. If you're gonna act this way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
sometimes
stuff don't even have to be said. It could be your body language, or like earlier traits, like people coming in and cleaning stuff that ain't even dirty. Like that's saying a lot. Like the house is clean, but apparently it's been a conversation about the cleanliness, and you coming in to make sure the house is clean for whatever side of the family you represent.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But to get to that united front takes work.
And understanding what a united front is.
Yes.
Right. Because the streets is something different.
Knowing what your values are as a couple. Which means you have to have some conversations with each other.
and stage the growth of your value having priority, because it might be that somebody needs to understand more about why you have the value for one thing versus something different. If it's foreign to them, then they need to experience it enough to understand why it should be a foundation in our relationship versus just saying, we ain't doing that.
or my mom used to do, or my dad said.
Right.
Yeah.
Give a damn what they said.
Damn it. Go sleep with them then. Go get dinner from them.
So I try not to do that, because I change the argument. It becomes more petty at that point.
Absolutely. It's an empty argument.
Yes.
Right, yeah. See that empty argument. Write that down, everybody. You're learning. Empty argument.
It's an empty argument.
It's be nuggets dropped all throughout this. If you play this back, it's a nugget.
Gotta get your sip and chat notebook. Be like, okay, wait a minute.
That's what it's called. Empty arguments.
We might have to do a sip and chat vocabulary.
Listen, okay? Educate the people. Gotta give them the knowledge. You can't hide it from them.
And that would only be available if they join the group, because that's the place that we can host the documents of such language and resources.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. So anything else? Or we wrapping it up on time on a Friday sip and chat?
I think we are wrapping it up on time.
I can't imagine it. It must be because it's a holiday weekend. Somebody must got a cookout or something to go grab a rib or something.
we're wrapping it up like it's the first time we met.
Yeah, right? Like first time over, yup. It was nice meeting you. This coffee was great.
I think we were just concise tonight. And
we were.
Right.
So if there's any conversations that you find that would be helpful, we're always open to those contributions. And if you are catching us on the replay and there's some nuggets that we didn't highlight, do hashtag replay and put those in the comments and we'll come back and share some love.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotta get back on that motorcycle, Daryl. All right, and enjoy your long weekend is what I'm going to call it. Be safe in whatever it is that you choose to do, especially if you are, actually don't matter if you're in an urban community or not. Be safe and stay well. Right. And, be on your pivot and pay attention to your surroundings at all times. Like, what?
Right. That's right.
So, but until then, we'll see you next Friday with another lovely relationship conversation. Thanks for rocking up with us.
Have a good weekend.
Bye. Have a good weekend.